Hi. Thank you for coming on in. So, Miss Olga, tell me what brings you into our offices today.
I need help. We came from Italy, and I'm an immigrant here, and I'm kind of struggling with 3 kids, and I need some help.
Okay. So, I know that you're coming here from Italy. We've got the 3 kiddos. So, are you looking for some sort of legal support?
Yes, any support I could get.
Okay. Are you looking for support for immigration? Because we can definitely give you some good resources in the local community for that too.
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely. So one of the referrals that we'd gladly make for you is Community Legal Aid. They're located here within the Springfield, Mass area. So we can get that started for you. And if your children need any legal assistance as well, we can do that too. Now, I know you said you were from Italy. Is the full family from Italy?
Yes, they are. Yes, except I came down here. My husband's from Arizona, so he was born and raised down here. So
Okay.
he's not. He's American. He's not an immigrant.
And so all the kiddos are also immigrants as well?
No, well, one of them is, but the other 2 are U.S. citizens. They were born here.
Okay.
My last child wasn't, so I came down here with her.
Okay. We can definitely get you that referral and that support with that too. So tell me, I know that you mentioned that you were married with your husband. How are things together family-wise?
Not good. That's why I had left. I left last year, get away, because he was very abusive. And, I couldn't have him around my kids. He was mistreating me a lot. So I left over there and then came back because he promised he was going to change. And the whole cycle started all over again. So I'm really kind of stuck. I know where to go. So that's why I'm staying with him for right now. And
Okay. So you're staying right now with him in the house?
yes, with him and his aunt. It's his aunt's house, and I'm currently living there. But we're together. But I'm staying downstairs in the basement with the kids,
Okay.
and he's upstairs in the house. And getting treated unfairly there, and I need some help. Get away from the situation.
Definitely. So, do you feel safe going back home tonight?
No, I do not.
Okay. And I noticed that the 3 kiddos, they aren't with you now. Where are the kiddos?
Right now they're with my mother.
Okay.
She's watching.
Okay. So the 3 children are with your mom, so they're safe for right now. Okay. So we can definitely support you if you're looking for some emergency housing or even emergency shelter if that's something that you're interested in.
See, the problem too is that English is not my first language.
Okay.
So I have problems when I go to places that I really don't understand paperwork and the resources that they're offering me. So I also need some support and help with that.
Okay. And thank you for vocalizing about that. That's a lot of strength, and I appreciate you coming here. I know it takes a lot to be able to speak up about these hardships, and it says a lot about you. So I appreciate you opening up about that to me.
Thank you.
As for, paperwork and supporting you with that, by all means, I know that right now we're speaking in English. Would you prefer to have a translator in Italian for you, or would you just like your documents in Italian? What would better suit you?
Yes, the documents in Italian would definitely help me because reading, I don't read much English.
We can do that. And also going back in terms of not feeling safe to go home tonight, I commend you on having your girls stay with your mom and making sure that they're safe for tonight and going forward. So, have you ever called for shelter services before?
No, because I was scared.
Okay.
I was scared, and one day he's good, and then the next day he's like wanting to kill me. So every time I go, say that I'm leaving, he holds me back and tells me to stay. So, but I've had enough, so I'm trying to get out of there.
And it sounds like he's very controlling.
Yes,
There's
he
a lot of
is.
power in that.
Yeah, he's very controlling.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you in terms of the process, we have a couple hotline numbers that I'd be more than willing to give you for referrals. I can give you the local YWCA number as well as SafeLink. That is the umbrella hotline for all of the shelters available in Massachusetts. So we can get you a bed for not just you, but for the kiddos as well. We have shelters that are family and also for singles too.
But will he know where I'm at? Like, would he find me? Am I gonna be safe in the shelter?
Oh, definitely. When it comes to shelters, they're very different from the norm that people might see like on television. It's not a homeless shelter. It's designed with security in mind in terms of you and your family being able to find the transportation to get there and also being safe in your location. And you can relocate anywhere you would like. That would be closest for you for support.
Oh, that would be awesome.
If you feel like a couple towns away would be safe for you, we can do that. If you're looking for something more out of state, we have some national hotline referrals that we can give to you as well. And I want to let you know that if transportation is an issue, we can support you with that too.
Yeah, it is an issue. I don't have transportation right now, so when I go anywhere with the kids, I usually go on public transportation, and it's a hassle to carry around with 3 kids. And I think I'm pregnant again. I'm not sure, but I don't have any health insurance, so I haven't been able to check myself.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you letting me know that. We definitely have an emergency pregnancy care unit actually located within our city. I'm definitely going to go ahead and give you that referral so that we can make sure that you get those services. You can even take the kiddos too with you because they do provide childcare if that's something that you might need.
Yes.
I know that right now is a safe time for you to meet when we spoke over the phone initially. So if this time works, you can definitely connect with them going forward. And I also wanted to ask you, do the kids also need health insurance support too?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I've been struggling with them. I had a little part-time job, and then I got a full-time job. And the full-time job, I was able to get insurance for the kids. But from all the domestic violence at home, he started following me at my job, so I lost my job. So right now, I'm looking for another job, and my kids don't have health insurance, and I don't have health insurance yet. So.
And right now, you don't have any income either. You're dependent on financially.
Yes.
Okay. And I want to let you know, first of all, it's definitely not your fault. This is an abusive situation and decision that this person has done against you. So it's absolutely not your fault. You didn't ask for this. No one does. And as for being able to get some health insurance, I know that we do have another clinic here as well, outside of the pregnancy care unit. They can support you. It's actually within walking distance of our agency. They can support you with setting up health insurance. You probably qualify for Maine Mass Health Limited. I know a lot of agents work there that can work one-on-one with you, and also with one of your children who is undocumented, and also the 2 that are. So they can set you up with insurance, and they'll also take that limited insurance at that facility. So you can get a primary care and maybe an OBGYN too, for the little one on the way.
And do they have translators and can help me with paperwork and
Absolutely.
process?
Legally, they will have to translate all of your documents. If Italian is the way to go, we can do that.
Awesome.
And even with transportation too, if you need some support getting there, I know you mentioned that was a little bit of a struggle. What we can do is, if you need bus passes, we can set you up with that as well.
Oh goodness.
And I wanted to ask you for today, do you have, how did you get here in terms of transportation? Do you have rides with like your mom? I know you mentioned her before as a support system.
Yes, my mom dropped me off. I was gonna come before, but last night was just a horrible event in my house, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. He tried to kill me basically, so I had to run out. I had, a couple hours while he went to work to gather up my stuff and get out the house, so I decided to run over here, and my mom brought me.
Okay, so you're coming straight from an event. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I definitely commend you. It's, again, no easy feat. So, in terms of safety planning, have you ever heard that word?
No.
So I'd like to do a little bit of safety planning with you. It's just a general conversation. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. They might seem a little bit intrusive, but I just want to get a sense of where you are safety-wise so that we can plan ahead to keep you and also the kids as safe as possible in that situation.
And is this in confidence, or are you going to be telling everything that we're talking about to other people, or is just between me and you?
This absolutely stays between us in terms of our session for confidentiality. We're very big on that. Even if your husband were to try and call or come on site, we cannot confirm nor deny anything that we've spoken about in terms of confidentiality. And the only three restrictions to confidentiality would be if there's a minor who is self-harming or who is encountering abuse, if there's an elder or a disabled individual who is self-harming or encountering abuse. And same thing, let's say that if you were to tell me that you were going to self-harm or take your life, then that would be the three instances where we would break confidentiality.
Okay.
Absolutely. But in terms of the home, I wanted to ask you, so I know that you were able to grab a bag, put some things inside of it. What do you have in that bag currently?
My kids' diapers,
Okay.
their PJs, their bottles. I really didn't grab anything for myself. I really just grabbed the jacket. It was chilly, and gathered as much as I could for my kids, but I didn't gather anything.
Okay. And that's all right. Yeah, you definitely don't have to go back if you don't feel safe at this time.
No.
And he's still at work, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. He doesn't leave for how long?
Like 3 more hours.
Okay, so 3 more hours. That's a good window of time. Because there has been abuse and that incident as well, you have a couple options legally. If you would like, we can file for a restraining order at the courthouse to see if we can get you that temporary protection so that you can have a police escort to pick up your things from that house so that we can get you ready for finding a shelter. And if you have a place to stay tonight, I don't know, would your mom be willing to keep you for tonight?
No, I don't want to stay because he knows where my mom lives, so I'm afraid that he's going to go there and look for me there. So there's no way I could go to my mom's. I'm just scared right now that he's going to come out soon and grab the kids, so I just want to get away. And I really don't even care to grab the stuff that's at the house. Like, I just don't really want to go back.
And I want to let you know that I definitely respect that and that you're also the expert in this situation. You've remained safe in this relationship, in this context, for all of this time. So if you believe that it's not safest for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you do have your cell phone with you? Do you have a spare charger?
Yeah. That I did bring.
And I also wanted to ask quickly, I know that as of now, none of the kiddos have any health insurance, so we don't have to worry about that. But going forward, when you file for health insurance, make sure that you file as a single. Even though you're married, so that you can have your own health insurance so that he can't trace you when you do relocate outside. So that's something I want you to keep in mind, and same thing with the kiddos, because if not, he could call the billing company at any sort of hospital and say, hey, I see that my son, for instance, has gotten immunizations. I just want to make a quick check and make sure you have the right address for my billing. And of course, they're going to reveal that information. You could get found out. So
I say he's my husband and stuff, but we're really not legally married.
okay.
So I didn't get the chance to be a citizen yet when I married him. So hopefully he doesn't have those rights.
Okay. So, and thank you for telling me. Okay. So you haven't had that chance.
No. It's just I've been with him for so long, so I'm used to calling him that.
And if anything, that does make a bit of a difference too, because now that you're not married, it kind of makes things a little bit less complicated with should you choose to file for divorce, all of that. And one of the legal services that I did mention a little bit before with community legal aid, they can support you because now that you're going through this process, if you like, you can actually apply for the U visa. It's a visa that allows you to remain within the United States for 4 years as you continue on through your process of, getting the restraining order, cooperating with the police, all of that to get yourself that protection.
That'll be awesome.
Absolutely, because this is not your fault and you shouldn't be punished for it. You deserve to have everything that you've ever wanted here in America if that's your choice for your kiddos. So we can get that started for you. But let me go ahead and grab some of the paperwork for the referrals so that we can get that started. Okay. So these are going to be, and I have here 2 copies. One for myself, one for you, so we can kind of look over them together. Okay. So these are going to be some of the numbers that we're going to call together so that we can get you placement into a shelter. So the best part is that thinking ahead, you kind of already have a little bag packed with all the things that you'll need. So when we do call a shelter, just know that we've got to be ready to get there within 24 hours. And here are a couple local listings that we have here, as well as the national. So do you feel like you want to stay within the state and the local area, or how far would you like to go?
As far as possible.
Okay.
As far as possible. Out of town. Not out of state, but out of town. That'd be fine.
Definitely. So with these referrals, we can definitely get that started. And I'm also going to go ahead and support you with transportation, just in case if your mom can't take you that far, or if it wouldn't be safe, because it sounds like he's willing to search for you and also
Yes,
turn
he
around.
has before. I have one question that I'm really concerned about. With my kids, is there food? Do they provide food at the shelters? How are my kids gonna eat tonight?
No, absolutely. So the majority of shelters do have food provided, and they're ready to accept anybody, even if they don't have any bag pack whatsoever. If all you have is the clothes on your backs, they have food, clothing, shelter, and social workers just like myself and other counselors for the children too, to be able to kind of start from the ground up. Even if you don't have your documents with you of any sort, like if you don't have your birth certificate from Italy, that's okay. We can support you getting all of that back, so you don't have to worry about going back.
Oh, okay. Sounds great.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I came.
Absolutely, and we're glad to have you to support your kiddos as well.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and take care of making some of those referrals to figure out what we can do. I'll have to have you present so that you can make that conversation, because they always want to hear from the survivor first, because that's just how the system works. Would you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, and the translator should be there.
Absolutely,
Okay.
the translator will be there, so you'll be set.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can grab another separate area so that we can get those calls going. Because here we don't have a phone, and I want to make sure we don't use your cell phone at this time. Is your cell phone? Because I know you don't work, so the cell phone's under his name. He's paying for it, correct? Okay. I want to make sure that you have your location off, and that we don't call using your phone. Because if not, he could call the phone company and see what numbers you're dialing. And we want to make sure that this is as private as possible, so he doesn't know, so you remain safe. Okay?
Okay. And do I have to follow up with you, or?
Oh, absolutely. What we'll do is once we scoot on over to the rooms and make those calls, we can do a follow-up within next week if you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Now, would you prefer follow-up online or in person? What works best for you?
Can we meet at like the shelter location, or with transportation? I don't know if I can be able to travel so far. Depends where I'm located at. But would you be able to go out there and meet me?
So when it comes to pending, if it's within the state, I can definitely go out and meet you there at the shelter site. If no, I can just make sure to send you an email and transfer all that information to your next counselor if you do land into shelter tonight in placement. Okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So it sounds like a plan. Thank you again for coming on in, and let's go
Thank you.
scoot over to the other room.